Why, hello everyone. Welcome to Jolene's Happy Time Craftcast. I am so excited to see you today. Thank you so much for being with me. It's a beautiful May day here in Minnesota, and I'm just off a weekend it was a holiday weekend, but we did chores. Anybody else? It was wood chipper weekend, so that means that I was covered in PPE. Since I'm wildly accident prone, I have a hard hat. I have other put Jolene in a bubble kinds of things before Darren and I got busy with the wood chipper. So it was something to see, honestly, because I've only been a resident of the country here for almost 5 years, and I'm really kind of a city girl. So the learning curve is what is it, like long, shaped like a bell? I don't know. But I hope you all had a lovely weekend. It's so great to be back here with you today. I am always excited about our guests. I'm always absolutely thrilled that they are able to spend time with us. Today is no exception. Maria Overlay is a multidisciplinary artist, and she creates dreamy, nature-inspired art. She's from Indiana, and it's her work in photography and paint that celebrates magic, healing, and the beauty of the natural world. What I really like about her art is she's got these really enchanting, whimsical characters that she puts inside of her pieces. She's self-taught in photography and trained at Milan Art Institute. She shares her art through originals, collaborations, and licensed goods, encouraging others to explore their creative magic. And she also has one of her designs at our other business, Big Raven Yoga, and we are absolutely thrilled that she is one of our guest artists. So please, please, please welcome Maria to the Happy Time Craftcast. Hello, Maria.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration behind some of your whimsical characters? Like, where do those little creatures come from?
Well, I started my art journey with photography. I
Okay.
kind of dabbled a little bit in watercolors at that point, but I've done photography for quite some time, and um, most of it revolves around animals,
Yeah.
bugs, butterflies, just nature in general.
Mhm.
So I'm mostly inspired by the natural world.
Yep.
I go on walks and gardens and just just always inspired by all the vibrant colors and just the animals. But it doesn't stop there. I'm also inspired by, kind of like the everyday,
Mhm.
you know, everyday life kind of stuff like a cup of
Sure.
coffee,
Well,
a quiet morning.
did you just make them up? Did they just come to you like in a vision? Um,
Sometimes,
okay.
yeah, a lot of it, or I shouldn't say a lot of it, but sometimes it's inspired by books I read, like
Yeah.
stories. Yeah, I mean, like movies, magazines. Like, I just feel like it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
My inspiration. Yeah, and just sometimes I'm just like, I want to paint a hibiscus flower,
Right.
because I want to use red, or something like that, or I want to use purple. So yeah, sometimes it just comes to me, but a lot of it mostly stems from nature.
Right. And observation, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
observation. Yeah.
Um, so of all the creative things that you do, so photography, gouache, painting, the blending of colors, like all of those things that you do, which of those things is your favorite?
Oh, it's hard. I would say, as much as I love photography, I don't like to spend a lot of time on the computer.
Sure.
So I would say painting is probably more therapeutic.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I have a bit of anxiety, and when I'm painting, I feel like I'm very present.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, like kind of like just thinking about that moment, and
Yeah.
what colors I'm going to use, and I don't know. It's just very helpful for my mindset.
Right.
Um, with photography, it's more of like I'm seeing, like I'm learning about the animal or flower or the scene or whatever it is that I'm
Right.
photographing, I'm seeing it in a different way. So I feel like there's perks to both, that,
Right.
um,
So
I love both.
where do people like, how do you typically engage with your community or your audience, or like where do people like consume your artwork?
I post a lot of my behind the scenes
Okay.
on Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook. I've been trying to do a little more with YouTube,
Okay.
like kind of recording like the process and
Sure.
making videos. So I'm kind of learning about that. So yeah, I have the social media, but also I have my website as well.
Okay.
And sometimes I do in person, like art fairs, art markets,
Mm,
which is
mhm,
really fun.
mhm.
The last one I did a live painting, which was I thought would be really scary, but it wasn't.
Oh,
It
that's
was actually really
great.
fun, and it kind of took my mind off of like, yeah, kind of help with things like get a little bit of anxiety. You're showing
Did
off your work to everybody,
did
so
you know where you were going to go with this painting?
kind of. I had a little bit of a plan, but it just kind of like I kept adding more.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I
yeah.
love that. I would love to try that, like, because I live stream, book folding projects a lot, or, I did a large mosaic out of book board and I live streamed that, but I
Awesome.
knew where I was going. I think it
Mhm.
would be kind of like interesting to have kind of like involvement and feedback, right?
Yeah.
About what
Yeah.
goes next. Like, if
Yeah.
I were there watching you, Maria, I would be like, put one of your little characters, like,
Yeah.
a little character in a tweet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the one behind me, that blue butterfly. So I'm like, well, I'll
Mhm.
add some like plants in there, and then lily of the valley, because I don't know, I just
Sure.
think they're cute little flowers and they smell good.
Yes, mine are
So
just blooming yesterday.
yeah,
Yes,
just have
absolutely.
a bunch. I know that I think they're invasive, but I love them. I think they smell
I
awesome.
know. I love them too. I love them too.
Little woodland
So,
creature.
one of the things that like my community that we talk a lot about is we talk a lot about like perfection and mistakes, and in an art form like yours, I feel like some of us get a little too precious and we don't really experiment or play. We get kind of like real tight about the
Yeah.
outcome and
Yeah.
making sure that it is museum quality, right? So
Hmm.
does that happen to you? Do you paint just to paint and see what comes forth, or like I'm asking so many questions here at once, but like what's your opinion about perfection over progress?
I actually have a big, or did have a big perfectionist problem.
Mm,
It was kind of like starting to eat me alive a little bit.
sure.
I recently read a book by one of my mentors. Her name is Amy McNee, and the book is called "We Need Your Art." And in part of the book, she recommends a 2-week reset. So what that is basically so instead of me painting for like 4 hours at a time, trying to perfect whatever I'm perfecting, I cut it in half or even less. Like I think I did
Mhm,
90 minutes, and I wouldn't go longer than 2 hours. So I set a timer, and I'm like,
mhm,
whatever happens, just happens.
mhm,
I can't
mhm,
fix
mhm.
it. So like you do this painting, and you just leave it how it is. Like I painted some really bad stuff. Some of it was great, but
Right.
I figured out some stuff that I liked because I wasn't being a perfectionist. Because I'm just like, I'm gonna put this here and this over
Yeah.
here and add a moon, or whatever it is,
Right.
and it helped so much, like so much.
Right.
It was awesome. So I did that for 2 whole weeks, and I didn't take like any days off. Like even went through the weekend, and
Mhm.
I recommend it. It's really
And the
awesome.
name of the book is We Need Your Art,
Yes,
and it's
Amy McNee. Yeah,
Amy McNee. We'll be sure to link that in the show notes. I mean, it sounds amazing. I've
yeah.
been working on getting my way through Rick Rubin's book on creativity. Have you read
Okay.
that?
I haven't. I've heard of it though.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of like crafty friends and arty friends that are like into that one.
Nice.
I think too for me, like in my art world,
Hmm.
sometimes there is a mix of the line between like what I am creating for myself versus what I'm creating for my craft club or what I'm creating for other people to do at a Pick Your Projects retreat here at Big Raven Farm, versus what I'm making for our gift shop. So it's kind of like I've got like these pockets, and it's been a long time since I've just had one that's just been like, please make me, like, please make me because you just really want to make this one particular thing.
Right, right.
Yeah. So I really am drawn to the ideas about, um, they say, how they say like do your passion and the money will follow,
Yes.
and like of all the things that I do between Big Raven Yoga, Big Raven Media, and Big Raven Farm, I love all of them, but like I am an artist and I am like identify one in like all moments pretty much, especially now that my kids are grown and no longer at home. Um,
Yeah,
and I just think about making stuff all the time.
me
Are
too.
you
My
are you
brain
like
can
that?
never buy
No,
it.
me either. Never. Like I'm always thinking about it.
Yes, like just I think yesterday or the day before, I'm like, I think I should design book covers. I'm like,
Right.
oh my
Right, right.
god. Like, oh great, another thing that I have to work on.
Right. It's like makers have to make or something.
Yeah,
Like it's
right.
almost like, I don't know, friends in the comments, please answer that question. Like, does that happen? Like, are Maria and I the only ones? Or is there like, it's almost like a calling,
Yeah. Hmm.
like it is always there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about, like, I just can't stop. I can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So when that, perfectionist comes in and
Yeah.
you get a little burned out, then that kind of inspiration or, those little voices, do they kind of go away for a little while? It's like, oh no. Like, what
Right.
did I do? Yeah. Where'd they go?
Right. Right.
But yeah. Yeah. Once it comes back, it's like all coming at you. It's,
Yep. So do
it's
you get
great.
a chance to be creative every day?
I do. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's kind of great.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a dog groomer for 12 years.
Okay.
And I even owned my own little salon at my
Yeah.
house for a couple years. But yeah, I always felt there was something missing. I kind of try to get little artistic with the dogs too. Like I would color their tails and, take a lot of pictures, put little bow ties
Yeah.
on everybody. The dogs were like, okay. But I still felt like I did photography on the
Mhm.
side and a little bit of painting. So I still felt like the art was missing because that's
Yeah.
what I originally wanted to be like when I was a kid. Like, I'm going to be an
Mhm.
artist. But, life happened. So, but yeah, I decided just be like, okay, I'm just gonna do this and see what happens. So,
And here you are.
yes, yes. So full time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you work big every day or do you work small?
I work a little smaller now. I used
Okay.
to paint bigger when I was working more with oils and acrylics.
Mhm.
I would paint really big canvases, but I feel like now that I'm painting a little bit smaller and on paper, there's a little less of a what's the word I'm looking for? Like I don't feel as like overthinking it. I guess
Sure.
I don't have so much room to cover or space
Mhm.
to fill or something like that.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it just takes a little bit of the I don't know what to say about it. Like it just makes me feel like I can do it. I don't
Right.
know.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, larger works and larger canvases, like they have a different kind of completion pressure,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess,
definitely. It's kind of cool,
Um,
like to paint on a big canvas. Like you could be a little wild in the beginning,
right,
just put color wherever you want. You know
right.
what I mean? You can make it kind of a big mess. I guess
Yeah,
you can with a smaller painting too, but I feel like there's a little more room to play around, maybe.
right.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on color palettes? And the reason that I ask is I recently did an online course with Estee McCloud. Do you know this magical unicorn woman?
No.
Oh my Lord. She is like, everything she says is like a prophecy. Like I'm such a
Oh,
big
really?
fan. Yeah, like she is a painter, a
Okay.
service pattern designer. She's in the UK, and I talked about her last week, I think. She did a summit or like an online course called uh Chlor Calori, and it was all about color.
Oh. Ooh.
And the reason that I took this class is that color is not my strong game. Like
Okay.
I tend not to use it. Like, when I do like a big book project, people say, "Do you paint it?" No, absolutely not. I don't paint it because first, I like the texture and the text of the book, and I don't want to hide it.
Yeah.
And second, I'll ruin it because I just don't have color confidence. Like,
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
don't. Especially in my artwork. So, like, to me, I'm wearing brown today, and like that's a pretty strong color. So,
And it can be kind of like intimidating to use a lot of color. It can.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So in Esther's class, what she talks about, like, and through all of their, I think there have been 14 lessons, every instructor has a limited palette,
Hmm.
like 4 colors,
Okay.
maybe 5, and one of them is a neutral, right?
Yeah.
And so what this class has opened up for me is how accessible color feels when it's less
Hmm.
options, less
Yes.
mixing, just like
Yes.
it's been. So anyway, what are your opinions on color?
It can be overwhelming to try to pick a color out of, my bowl of watercolors. You know what I mean? Of
Yes.
the tubes. So I do try to use a limited palette. So
Hmm.
like if I'm like, okay, I want to use, uh, ultramarine blue.
Yeah.
And then I try to use the color that kind of complements it, or I try to kind of stick in that little bit of a family. And then, I'm usually mixing with black. I don't count black and white because I
Right.
use
Right.
it to mix. So there will be different, variations of the color. And then I mix the colors too. So if I'm using like, say, yellow with the
Hmm.
ultramarine, I'll mix those to make the green. That's what I did
Right.
with butterfly back there. So I just use a very limited palette, and
Yes.
it does help. It kind
It
of,
does.
yeah, it
It's
takes kind of the
almost
pressure off.
liberating and, like, accessible. Like, with each lesson, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought that I would understand color theory, like,
Yeah,
this particular way."
right.
And I've loved it. I thought it's just been fascinating.
That's awesome.
So, another thing that my community, we love to talk about is we love to talk about supplies. Like, we just can't get
Mm.
enough conversation
Oh
about that.
yeah.
Um, so where are you on the spectrum of supply? Are you Winsor Newton Daniel Smith? Are you Tim Holtz? Like where are you?
Oh, it depends on the medium.
Okay.
So like if it's acrylic wash,
Hmm.
I've been using it's called Turner. The brand is
Okay.
Turner, the Japanese brand. I don't know. I really like the consistency. It's really like buttery, smooth. I love it.
Yeah.
I also like Holbein. That's how to say it. Holbein. Um,
Okay.
for acrylic gouache as well. It's hard to say acrylic gouache.
It is okay.
And then for watercolors, I lean more towards Daniel Smith.
Hmm.
But I have a couple different brands. But that's probably the brand I have the most of.
Yeah.
Golden has a great brand. It's called Core. It's QOR, and they have some really
Okay.
vibrant, beautiful watercolors.
Have you gotten into watercolor sticks or the Condé Nast?
Oh, like
Neoprene twos or whatever they're called?
I haven't used the sticks, the watercolors. I have like a chalky watercolor.
Yeah.
I forget the brand name, but
Yeah.
they're pretty cool. Like you kind of draw with them,
And then
and
you can whoosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's how to use them. I
Yeah.
haven't like explored enough with them to know, but they're
I
pretty
was just watching some last night. Like, I had a big pile of like these sticks, and I don't ever really use them. And I was like, okay, let's get this figured out.
yeah.
And so, what worked the best for me was I actually just soaked the stick in my clean water and got it like kind of
Oh,
mushy. Um,
yeah.
and then I used my brush to apply it to my paper because
Okay.
when I did like a scribble of the crayon and
Mhm.
then got it wet, it kind of pilled my paper and made like little bubble.
Okay.
Didn't enjoy that.
Yeah, no.
But then when I kind of smoothed it out, I was like, okay, I could see,
Mhm.
because it just felt like I had a little bit more control than, like, with watercolor. I kind of struggle sometimes between how much water, how much pigment. And that's
Yep.
just because I don't really practice very much. But with these pencils and sticks, I was like, oh, okay, I just go back to the stick, you know?
I'll have to try that, like dipping it in the water
I
and
did. I just let
draw.
it soak. I let it soak for just a few seconds. And then it didn't do that pilling thing. It was great.
Okay.
But I was shocked. I was doing a little shopping, materials for this course, and I like had a little sheet. And I was like adding up the supply cost like for one of the lessons, and like it was like, $50 or something. And I was like, okay, do I have these things in my existing arsenal of stuff?
Yeah. I know how
Course
that
I
goes.
didn't. I didn't have like the ones that they had. I was trying to see if I had something similar. Um, but I ordered just a couple of things and I was like, oh boy, it's expensive to get the
It
good stuff.
is, yes. There's a Blick store, Blick Art.
Yeah,
In
yeah, that's where I ordered from.
Chicago. And I was going to go to it, and then I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe I should go. That might be a bad idea.
Right. Well, even the watercolor paper, I got one piece of 300 gram, 140 pound watercolor paper. Maria, it
Yeah,
was $9
I
for
know.
one piece.
I know. I know.
I was like, whoa.
Some bigger sheets. And I think it's by Arches. I think I have Arches. They're the huge sheets. You can cut them
Yeah.
up. It's just kind of tricky to cut them up because they're so big. They
Right.
don't really fit in a paper cutter. So
Right.
that part gets a little tricky, but it might save you.
Well, I'm very curious to see how this thing arrives because, I was like, I can't buy a whole bunch because I've never done this before. I better just test it.
Yeah,
And so
right.
mine will be one that I'm cutting apart or ripping apart or whatever. But I
Hmm.
don't know how they're going to ship it to me.
Yeah, right, right.
It's like, okay, we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it'll be a surprise.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and I think too, like with Daniel Smith, in my experience, that is the pigment is so potent that you
Yes,
just need a little bit.
the tubes last forever.
I know,
Last
right?
forever. Yeah,
And
I
so
mean,
$9 a tube starts to make more sense.
it does. Yeah, it's like, well, when you want to buy a bunch of colors, yeah, it gets expensive, but
Mhm.
they last so long. They really
I
do.
know.
Yeah.
It's so what is on your work table now? Like, what are you excited to make like now?
I just finished a commission for
Ooh.
two dog
Oh,
paintings. So today I was just kind of messing around in my sketchbook because
okay.
just trying to come up with different ideas. So I was
And is
just
that your process? Do you start from sketchbook and then go to substrate?
sometimes, especially if I'm not sure, I'm like,
Mhm,
well, let's
mhm.
just put it in the sketchbook and see what happens, kind of
Yep.
thing. Play around with colors. That way I'm not feeling like, oh, I'm working on this painting and I have to get it right.
Right.
If I'm in the sketchbook, I can be like, oh, I can throw purple in there and see what happens,
Mhm,
or whatever it is.
mhm.
And then with my sketchbook, I can use whichever medium I want,
Yep.
gouache or watercolors, or both,
Mhm.
which looks pretty cool together too.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that how you get your creamy backgrounds?
Yes, I use the acrylic gouache.
Mhm.
I do a lot of this with a
Yeah, I
paintbrush.
bet.
I have a lot of ruined paintbrushes.
Well, and your acrylic gouache, are you using water soluble?
Yeah, it is water. Well, I don't know if it's considered water soluble because when it dries, you can't move it, but
Okay,
it,
because I know
you can
some
put water
are,
with it. Yes.
right? Some gouaches are and some are not.
Yeah, so you can put water with it to get it moving, but you can
Right.
also use like acrylic mediums with it. So if
Okay.
you have like the gloss glaze, I use
Mhm.
that with it a lot to create, backgrounds and things, or just to get it moving a little
Yeah.
more. It helps. Sometimes the water's like too much. Like it's like, I didn't want it to flow that much.
Your backgrounds are it's one of the things I love the most. Like I love that there's like hidden texture and color, and I just love how buttery creamy, they
Yes.
look like they're not flat. They're like really dimensional,
You.
and I love that about your work.
I learned that from my online school with the Milan Art Institute.
Oh, sure, sure.
A lot of layering to get
Hmm.
that like depth. Yeah.
So that brings up another question, Maria.
Mhm. Yeah.
So do you consider so I consider myself a student of art as
Hmm.
much as an artist.
Me
Um,
too.
like I love consuming technique.
Me
I
too.
love consuming ideas. Like,
Mhm.
do you do that too? Do you like keep taking courses and keep,
Yes.
yeah, me
Sometimes
too.
I'm like, okay, settle down.
Yeah, me
I'll
too.
see like something pop up, and I'm like, ooh, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a great way to kind of learn from others and
Yeah.
put that into your artwork too. Like
Hmm.
I don't think I'm great with like landscapes, so
Mm.
I ordered a box from Let's Make Art on, I think it's National Parks landscapes.
Oh
So
yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so I'm like, this is cool. It even comes with a couple tubes of paint. So I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
exciting. So I'm really excited to try that. I think it comes
I
out.
would love to hear back how that goes because I
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah, because I think it'll be a great way to just kind of learn something new and different.
Right.
I don't normally paint, so
Right. Well, when people ask me, like, okay, what kind of artist are you? Like, it always takes a minute to kind of
yeah,
explain that,
yeah,
I am more of a visual, I'm more of a builder. Like,
mhm,
I build stuff. Um,
yeah.
I use power tools to like make shapes and break things down
Oh,
and like
that's cool.
rebuild them.
That's
And
awesome.
my primary medium, thank you. My primary medium is book board. And so, like, I went to the dump on Friday or maybe Saturday. Like it was Saturday. And they had just emptied the bins. And so it was my first time going to the dump and there's nothing to get. I was just like,
Oh my
no
god. Oh,
way.
that's interesting.
Well, I
So,
call it the dump, but it's really the recycling center. And
gotcha.
at
Okay.
my recycling center, they organize by hardcover books, paperback books, paper, cardboard glass, everything else.
Okay. Okay. So
And
people are just throwing away books because that
they
would make
are. They
oh,
are. This is the
that
end
makes
of
me
the
sad.
line. Well,
Oh,
it's the end of the line for these books. Like they have been in grandma's basement or they're broken down a
probably
lot of
find some
times.
really cool like vintage books.
Say that again?
You could probably find some really cool like vintage.
Oh, oh yes. Oh
Oh,
yes, I do.
I might have to
Um,
try
and
to do
sometimes too, it's even donation centers that
that.
like because the thing that happens in my world of, using reclaimed books is that people think that they should donate a book, but sometimes the book isn't donatable. And
Oh,
then it
okay.
becomes a disposal problem for the people that you donated it to, and then they got to figure out how to get rid of it.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's
when I'm at the recycling center, it's the end of the line. Like it's
okay.
gone through like donation
Yeah,
centers or wherever, and now it's going to be recycled in one way or the other. So the hardcovers have a different process than the paperbacks. And so I'm just there usually for the covers because that's what I use in my artwork.
awesome.
And this last Saturday, they had just emptied the bins. I was really, really bummed. Like, where? Oh, curses.
Yeah.
Um, but when you talk about finding interesting things, on my last visit, I found four like daily diaries from a person in like the
Oh,
40s and the 50s.
oh,
And
ooh.
it was just one line a day. And the owner of this diaries, like it was like bought four calves today. Like that was the entry.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was
Really
really
cool.
interesting.
I
Yeah,
love
really
reading
cool.
that.
Or Harold came over Harold came over for pie after church. It was just like
Oh.
I just cannot wait to like infuse this into my collage or like
Yes.
use this in fodder in some kind of way. But like that is like the most exciting part of my process is taking things that were going to be garbage and then
Yeah,
bringing them back and
yeah,
giving
I
them
love
new life.
that. I
Me
love
too.
that. Gosh,
Me
I,
too.
I would probably be sitting there like reading
I
everything that
know. I
I found.
know. Well, and I'm probably the only person who goes to the dump and I leave with more than I came with, but um
Yeah, that's why I keep
just
away from like a lot of vintage shops. I'm like, I don't
right. It's just part of the process. But so I think I got in this little wormhole because I asked you what was on your work table and you were saying that you're in your sketchbook right now
yeah.
and thinking about your next larger piece, or what are you thinking about?
Well, one would be a new yoga mat.
Yes.
I've been kind of playing around with ideas for that. Um, I had an idea for like a night scene with like nighttime kind of flowers, like
Cool.
moonflowers,
Yeah.
Lily Valley again.
Kind of in some weird colors. That would be cool.
I know, and I'm like, I don't know what colors because the last mat was a lot of purples, a lot of blues. So
Mhm.
I'm like, maybe I can do something different, with different
I
colors.
Maria, I wonder if I can show it. I've never tried it before, so hold on. Let me see if I can do
Yeah,
this. I share my screen. Oh, I can totally share it. Look it. Can
oh,
you see it?
yeah, yep. Awesome.
So So for those of you who are live today, I am showing Maria. Look at how beautiful. Just beautiful.
And
This
it's
is her Monarchs plural by Maria Overlay at Big Raven Yoga. And look, it's got her little artist signature right there. It's
yeah.
just I love these colors. It's so beautiful. And talking about like a limited palette, this is a limited palette,
It is,
right?
yeah. I had a I had a hard time because I'm like, put more. No,
No,
no.
it's
I'm like
perfect.
brain, no. But yeah, I used with the orange. I mixed that with the blue to make the green. Kind of like olive colored green. So
Yeah.
really well. Yeah.
This is the creamy, buttery stuff that I'm talking
Mhm.
about. Like, look at that.
I do love brush strokes. I love the texture.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just delicious. I love it
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. And look at you in your garden.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks so
That's in a garden
good.
close by my house. I love it. It's called Brinka Cross Gardens. It's in Michigan City, Indiana.
Mhm.
It is just like dreamy in the spring. Like it's like
Oh.
in like a fantasy. Like it's like
Mhm.
just so pretty. It's so pretty. I go there every spring.
Oh. It looks great. It looks so good. You
Thank
did
you.
so well. And
Thank you.
like for those of you who are not looking, but you're listening.
Yeah.
You'll have to go to the show notes to see it, and we'll link and all that, those kinds of things. But it is absolutely gorgeous,
Thank
as our friends here live are saying as well.
thank you.
So on my work table, Maria, oh boy, I have this big idea in mind, and I don't know how I'm going to quite execute.
Okay.
Um, but I have been thinking about a mosaic, again, made out of bookboard.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about like I did a sunray recently, and like the shape was pretty simple. Like it was just, all the rays. But now I'm thinking about either a bear or a butterfly.
Oh. Ooh.
And I want to cut the book board in such a way that, like, the challenge is I can't use grout on
Mhm.
book board. Um,
Right.
I was thinking I could maybe use like black hot glue to like fill in my gaps, maybe,
Yeah, you could.
right? If I got it in really close and then just wiped it up with my finger really fast or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Just be
but
careful.
I'm in the math stage of like trying to figure out like how like so let's say it's a bear and we have one section of his head. It's almost like a quilt and quilt piecing. So
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to cut different colors of bookboard to still fit together.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be so cool. Like so
It's cool, but it's
like
mathy.
yeah, right. Yeah, like very complicated yet fun.
Right.
But
It's it can be a puzzle. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know the word I'm
Mhm.
looking for, but it's like you can't stop. I would have a hard time stopping. I think
Yeah. Well,
try
my last
to
my sunray, I think took me 2 months, I think.
Oh
I think.
wow. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, she's a big girl. I'm looking at her. She's 34 by 53.
Wow.
So she's big.
That's amazing.
And I don't know if you can see her. I've never done this before either. Let's try this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what do you finish it with? Do you varnish it or anything like that to
So
kind of
no, I don't seal them at all because like some of the book board already has like kind of a glossy, you know, kind
yeah,
of
right.
shiny finish to
Mhm.
them. So usually it's trimming, piecing, and then wood glue, but I
Okay.
haven't like sealed the tops of them. I might want to think about that for like
Maybe
the
for dust.
longevity of
Yeah.
them.
Dust and sun.
Um, but that's what's on my work table. She's living in my mind is how am I going to do
Yes.
that with a bear?
How do you start it? Do you have to draw it out like a bare
Yeah,
part of your body, whatever you want to do?
yeah,
Okay.
Maria, I can't even draw a cat. Like you want me as your Pictionary partner because I'm a really great guesser, but like drawing a real thing, me, not so much. So I would need to rely on like probably using like a clip art shape, like maybe in Canva, like
Yeah,
to give
right.
me the general idea.
That's a perfect way to do it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and then making a pattern. And then with this one, it was kind of like English pattern piecing, like in quilting.
Yeah.
I just had to get the pieces to fit in the pattern. So with this bear idea, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
challenge with book board is the grout. Like there's no grout, like nothing can be wet, or
Yeah.
it'll ruin the book board. And
Yeah.
then
Right.
also like getting it tight enough that it doesn't look, like I want it to look tight. So
Yeah.
if I figure it out, I'll share. But like that's
Yeah,
what
for sure. Please do. Yeah, I
that's
would
my
love
math problem as of the moment.
that. Yeah, I can relate for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, what's coming up for you? Like, where can our people find you? Where should they go to see these whimsical characters I'm talking about? Like, how can they find what you're up to?
They can visit my website,
Okay, which we will
or
link in the show notes.
yeah, yeah. And I also have an acrylic gouache class that I'm working on.
Nice.
I'm just working on like the finishing touches, and then I'm going to post it on my website.
Okay.
So I'm kind of excited because it's going to be a pay what you can class.
Oh, very
Um,
generous.
yeah, so if anybody wants to donate, they can. I have a buy me a coffee link that they can just go
Oh,
right to if they would like to, or just watch it for free. And then once I'm thinking like a month, I'm going to take it down to refresh it with a new class, and then those classes will go to Patreon. So
oh,
we'll have
nice.
a whole like archive of classes available with reference images too, like some
So, are you
photography.
currently on Patreon?
I am. I just don't have
Okay.
any classes posted yet.
I see. I
Yeah, it's
see.
new for me. Hmm.
Okay, so a gouache class. I think I
Yeah,
will be taking that
yeah,
because
awesome.
I don't have any gouache, but I love the creamy, buttery. I love
You
it.
like it. I,
Hmm.
I feel like it's just so versatile too because
Yeah,
if you mess up or something, you just cover it up.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? So it's I actually have the painting here because I wanted to show it, but this is what we would be working
Oh,
on. It's a morning glory, and I just painted it one day, and then I painted like three more afterwards because I'm like I love it so much.
that's awesome.
So I'm
Again,
like,
I'm noticing now that my eye is trained, limited color palette,
yeah, that's a very limited color palette. I
and it
figured
looks great.
that would be easy for people to get supplies for. They don't have to buy
Yeah,
like a whole thing of paints if they don't want to.
right.
Though that paint brand does have a whole kit within Amazon, and I would say it's a better purchase than buying them separately.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
makes more sense, but
Yeah, I bet.
you can buy them separately too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty
And
good.
what kind of gouache did you say is is that the kind that is your favorite?
Yeah, that's the acrylic wash. I do like traditional.
Okay.
It's a little harder to work with because it is like if you get it wet, it'll move on you. So like
Okay.
if you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this background, you know,
Oh,
it
it could be
seems like
undone.
yeah, it could be undone. It'll move.
Oh, okay.
So if
Mhm,
you're wanting to do a
mhm,
lot of layers and things like that, it's probably
mhm.
no. I
Thank
would
you,
do more
Vicky.
watercolors.
Yeah. Okay, so upcoming gouache class, and so we can link to your website, and then we would be able to find it there. That's awesome. You have your yoga mat at Big Raven Yoga called Monarchs, which we'll be sure to link so they can support your art that way as well. And we'll just keep our eyes on you for sure.
Thank you.
Um, and would you believe it? We're already to like kind of one of my favorite sections of our show, which I know you've been preparing for, which I totally
Mhm.
admire. So to kind of wrap us up, Maria,
Mhm.
um, what is your favorite word? And these are the same 10 questions I ask everyone, and you can like elaborate or be brief. It's completely up to you.
I don't know that I have a word that I use most often,
Sure.
but I do have words that I'd say I'd like to put in my art a lot, which is Luna, like the moon,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
like it because it's in a different language. And
Okay.
then I also like fleur for it's French for flower. So
Oh,
I really love like I don't know any other languages, but I wish I did.
great.
But
Oh,
I
I
love
love
to
this
impress people.
idea.
I think it's really beautiful, like in writing. So
Yeah.
they're just really pretty words to me.
Love it. Love it. I don't know that I have a favorite one right now, but I should remember. So in I can't remember if it was December or January. My I think it was probably December. My art kit for my craft club was we did a little pocket journal.
Okay.
Um, and we built the book and covered it and did the whole thing.
Awesome.
And I encouraged everyone to have a word of the month, the year, whatever.
Hmm.
And my word for the year was arrival.
Hmm.
And I chose arrival because I am a classic Gen Xer, classic, like I'm always chasing, always hustling, like
Yeah.
always, 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 like never really satisfied, always like,
Yeah.
um, and my favorite aunt, she asked me, my favorite aunt Carol, she was here at the farm and she asked Darren and I, she's like, do you two ever just sit down and enjoy what you've built? And we were like, no,
We're always on the go.
no, like we're always on to the next project or the next task
Hmm.
or whatever. And when she said that, I was like, oh, that's like such a good reminder that I keep chasing and I
Yeah.
don't like acknowledge that I might already have won the race, you know?
Yeah,
So,
right, right. Yeah, I
right,
do that with paintings too. I'm like, okay,
right,
on to the next. But sometimes it's good to sit there and be like, just look at it. Like,
right,
oh, cool, I
right.
did this, you know,
Yeah,
just now, you know.
exactly.
It's nice to sit and just kind of ponder and kind of, just, yeah, just enjoy it.
Arrive, right?
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
be, in
yeah,
fact,
exactly.
so, Maria, I was teaching a yoga class yesterday, and I feel like as a yoga teacher, sometimes I like kind of repeat myself and bless
Gotcha.
my yoga students for forgiving me for like it's just I just say the same things and like I'm sure they know that like when I say, start your yoga breath, breathe in through your nose, exhale through your closed mouth, make the sound of the ocean. Like I'm sure they're like saying it along with me.
Yeah, right.
And I was just kind of sick of my own words. And so I went to Chat GPT and I was like, I'm sick of the things I say in yoga. Can you please help me come up with a script that is not so redundant? And I did this while they were in Shavasana and it like blooped out this incredible thing about
It
rest
does,
and
yes.
how like we believe that rest is earned, but it's not. Like rest
Right.
is deserved.
Yes.
And I was like, "Thank you, little machine." Like,
No. Thank you for being so inspiring.
right? Like, thank you for helping me find the words I could not find today.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so rest is another good favorite word right now, but I
Yeah.
I
Oh,
digress.
yeah.
Okay, so do you have a least favorite word?
I don't know that I have a least favorite word. I like
I
a specific word. I'm not sure. I'm sure there's words that I don't like when they come out of someone's mouth.
right.
You know,
Right.
um, I don't like anything super derogatory,
Sure.
um, anything like that, or like really nasty words.
Right.
Unless they're like
Well,
put in a way that's like really funny, I guess. I don't know.
right, right, for comedic timing that happens in
Yeah,
a
yeah. If
family. Yes.
it's the
Yes.
timing, but if it's
Yeah.
just like random or it's just yeah,
My I'm sure you've heard this from people who have sons of a particular age. I don't really like it when my son calls me bro. Like I
oh
don't
my god, my kids call me bro. I have two kids,
yeah. Yeah.
both
So
of them,
bro,
daughter
yeah,
and son.
yeah, bro or bruv or any combination thereof.
Yes.
Um,
And I'm like,
I'm
I'm
just
not
like
your bro, I'm your mom.
I don't like it. Like I want to be mom, mommy, mama, like any of those. Okay, so we have that in common. Our son
For
saying
sure.
bro. Our
Yes.
children.
Yes.
My daughters don't do it, but my
No.
son,
Oh my
no,
daughter, she's
it's just my
14.
one son. Charles, you know who you are. Anyway. All right, what about this? This is a very important question because we have a live-in chef here, and so we eat very, very well. So,
Oh,
Maria, what is the best kind of sandwich? The
I
best.
would say a BLT.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. Do you have like requirements of what kind of bread?
Um, I like the bread, like everything bread, with all the
Sure.
goodies on it or in it. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite kind of bread for sure.
Yeah. We
Yes.
I think I think we do sourdough maybe.
Oh,
Um
sourdough, great.
but my requirement is for sure maybe a little avocado schmear on there
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Darren makes his own mayonnaise. So like homemade mayonnaise, because I don't really like mayonnaise, but I like his.
Oh, okay. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good.
Game changer. Like, oh,
Yum.
okay, this is making me hungry for lunch. I think I'm gonna start.
Right.
So, okay, do you think that there is a scary animal? And
Um,
if so, what is the scariest animal?
the first animal that's popping to my mind is a lamprey.
A lamb?
Okay,
What's
they live
that?
in Lake Michigan, and they look like something from Stranger Things. Like,
Really?
look, well, maybe don't look one up. I don't know. Their mouth
Okay.
is like full of teeth, like a bunch of teeth, and they like grab onto other fish and like suck them.
Oh, a lamprey. Okay, 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 okay. Yes, yes, yes. I've heard of this. I've heard of this. So, are they scary because they're unfortunately ugly, or are they scary because they have bad behavior?
I would say a little bit of both. I think it's the teeth thing, and then like
Right,
yeah, just like what they're doing is creepy.
right,
It's like attached to a human too, so it's like
right,
every time I go to the beach, I'm like, uh oh, I'm not going too deep.
right. Well, my answer in this space has changed like all the time. But right now it's like one particular animal. Um, I think I've seen too many videos of like really cute raccoons and
Um,
people who like raise raccoons and they like become like, domesticated or whatever. But we have a raccoon that keeps going into our chicken coop
oh
and
no,
like terrorizing our chickens.
yeah,
And yesterday, she like grabbed one of our chickens by the butt and like drug her off. And
no,
yes, and I had the windows were open and I was up in my bedroom. I was working on my computer and I heard this sound and it was like, huh, somebody's having a really hard time out there. And then I
yeah,
listened a little closer and I could hear my rooster. He was just
oh,
screaming his head off,
oh
like
yeah,
warning, protection,
yeah,
like, manager, manager. And so I texted Darren. I was like, Darren, our chickens are screaming. And he went running out there and he scared the raccoon. The raccoon dropped the chicken. And then now we've had to like carry her into the coop and like she's
yeah.
so traumatized.
Oh, at least she's
It's
alive.
just,
Oh
she's
god,
alive. She's
we've had
alive.
raccoon attacks, yeah, with our chickens too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've been swayed by social media thinking that,
they're adorable.
yeah, and I'm sure they are,
Yes,
but this particular one wants to eat my chickens.
yes. I'm like, come on, guys.
Right, can't we just all get along? So it's
I know,
got me a
poor
little freaked
chickens.
out.
Everybody
Like,
wants to eat the chickens.
I know. And so we're now on hyper diligent chicken watch. And
Yes.
last night, oh my gosh, last night she's walking and she's okay, but she would not go back in the coop because she was so
Oh,
terrorized.
oh,
So
poor
she
thing.
hid under our summer house, which is on posts.
Yeah.
So Darren was on his belly in the mud crawling under there to get her out because the raccoon would have surely found her under the house. Like it's
Right.
right
Yeah.
within. So anyway, he
Oh, poor
chased her out. I played guard. It was like double defense to get her back into the coop.
chickens, I feel like there's always something going on.
Always,
There's always drama.
always. Yes,
Chicken drama.
yes. I love them so much and they bring so much to our farm.
Me
Like
too.
I
Yeah.
just love that they're here. But there is not a dull moment in
No.
chicken, like chicken
No.
land. Like
Like
there's so much
it's
going
not
on.
like just lounging out in your yard and like
No.
chickens pecking. No, there's always like drama with chickens.
Yes. Do
Whether
you
it's
have
like them or like a hawk,
yes.
something going on.
Do you have a rooster too?
We used to, we don't anymore, no.
Okay, so you know about their like, man, our Bert, he runs a tight ship. Like if
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
not together, he will like,
Don't mess with my ladies.
yeah,
Yeah.
he'll round them up and like but it's squawky and loud and yeah,
Oh, it
absolutely.
is. It's, yeah.
But I do it. I love them. Okay, next question. So Maria, you're an artist, right?
Mhm.
Like you are an artist and you're living your life as one. What does that mean to you?
Ooh, I guess that means it makes me feel a little rebellious.
Ooh, I love
um,
that. Why?
I think because I'm just not doing the norm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm kind of yeah living outside of the box a little bit. The Matrix. I
Yeah,
like to call it the Matrix sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, I think
that's a great answer though.
yeah, but it also yeah, it's like a free feeling, but it's
Yeah,
also I also feel uncertain a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. So, um, there's always that uncertainty. Like, is
Mhm.
this going to work? Can I do
Right.
this? How am I going to do it? Like every day.
I think that like one of the things that like you've inspired me to like I want to manifest and believe in is like I would absolutely love to create content that is simply the process of making, building, creating.
Yeah.
And it would I would like to speak into existence that my bandsaw company or like the power tools that I use
Yeah.
will see this of value and be like, "Oh, Jolene, please let us pay you to make stuff
Right. Right. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that I don't have to focus on the hustle of my art."
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Like I would like have you seen
That'd be
creators like
hard.
that? Like it's just like the power tools are like, boop, use our tools and just go and enjoy.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Like I know a couple of artists like that, like they do cutting boards or tables or like
Mhm.
really cool things and they've got, great machinery and but I think that would just be like an absolute treasure to be able to just create, to be, and dial down the business side of it.
Yes, the business side can be a little scary sometimes.
Yes.
They kind of consume you a little bit.
Right,
Like,
because
oh,
it's
I gotta
unsure.
do all this stuff. Yeah, it can be a lot. So, um,
Agreed.
yeah, that's
Agreed.
that's probably the hardest. I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's not probably the hardest. Art can be hard too. But it's yeah, the business side can
Yeah.
be challenging.
I just want to make stuff.
Just
Just
art all
want to
day.
make stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So is there a sound or a noise that you love?
I would say I love the sound of rain and like
Yeah.
storms. Maybe that's a Midwest thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also love like when the wind goes through the tree, like you have that like
Mhm.
light breezy
Yeah.
sound. You hear like the leaves kind of
Mhm.
rustling. And I also love like winter. There's like really no noise. It's very quiet,
Right.
but it's like a different quiet.
Almost like a crunch. It's a crunch rather
Yeah,
than.
you just hear little crunches
Mhm.
maybe, or like maybe a bird like goes on a branch. You hear just like little noises. But
Yeah.
the human noises are a lot quieter.
I love that you have a whole list.
Yes. Oh
I
yeah.
love it.
More.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I I love, I've said this a million times. So for those of you who are fans of the show, forgive me and that you know what I'm going to say, but I love the sound of my children laughing
Oh,
when they don't know I'm around.
oh
Like
yes.
I love their interactions and like they
Mm-hmm.
have a love language that only siblings can have,
Definitely. I agree.
And yeah, and they when they were home recently, um one child insulted the other child and my mouth dropped and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Georgia." And then the person she insulted was laughing like a lot.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, they have this like fun banter that only like
yeah,
they understand, and they can
right.
mess with each other, and you're like, "Well, how dare you say that?" And they're like, "Oh, who cares?" Like,
Yeah, no, like he
yeah,
loved it. He loved it. And
yeah,
I was like, "Okay, just know your surroundings because if somebody overheard you, they would be like, that was a hate crime."
right,
Like,
yeah,
to just mind yourself and like
right,
stay out of trouble.
right.
It was really funny last night. So like I said, I taught yoga last night and I love my students so much. They're lovely and wonderful and amazing. And I had mentioned that my kids were home because we had a little community celebration. I live in the first Norwegian settlement in Minnesota is where I live. So it
Excellent.
was Sitten de Mai, which means May 17th or Norwegian Day of Independence or something like that. And after doing chores, my kids went down to the bar, and my son, my youngest son, is a death metal drummer. So Maria, when he walks into a room, he's a musician, like you
Right,
just,
yeah.
yeah,
You know, yeah.
you just kind of know. And I was telling my students yesterday that my kids went downtown and had a cocktail after doing chores. And one of my students, she's just adorable. She was like, "Oh, was your son wearing this? Was your daughter wearing this?" Like she knew right away who they
Yeah.
were because we live in a town of 1,200 people, and they were like, "Who are these, new people coming?"
Mhm.
And she was like, "They were so cute, and they definitely had a vibe." And I was like, "Well,
Yep, yeah.
that's
I feel that way about my daughter too. Like, I'm like, she's only 14
yes.
right now, but I always try to like not talk her into it, but I feel like she'd do really great with like improv. She
Oh
still
yeah.
took classes like a little bit in elementary school, but like I can see her on SNL. Like Gemma just like I don't know, she's funny but doesn't even try. Or
Oh, that's
sometimes she does. She does
fun.
really silly things, but I think
Yeah.
she just does weird stuff. And I'm like I whenever I watch SNL, I'm like, I can totally see Gemma doing this. But yeah, she's the same way. Like she's, it's Gemma.
Yeah, like they just have an energy, they have a
Yes,
presence, they have
I call her the Kool Aid Man. Like she comes
yeah,
in the door, like boom.
right through a door.
Yes, like doing quiet things, and she's like, "Hello,"
That's such a great reference. I love that. Oh
That's what
man, y'all remember the Kool-Aid Man busting through the door? Like I can't remember
Mhm.
his tagline. What was his tagline? He said something when he came through the door, didn't he?
He
Maybe somebody in the comments knows. Like, what did the Kool-Aid Man say when he broke down the door?
yes. Gosh, that was so long ago. I don't even remember what he said, but
Did they
I
just maybe
know, but
scream Kool-Aid Man? I don't know.
maybe like Kool Aid. Or
And you know what? How long has it been, Maria, since you had Kool-Aid? Like,
Gosh, since they were little kids, I think.
right?
So
Like, I
some
can't even
years.
remember.
I remember mixing up like just mixing up sugar here for my kids,
Yeah, yep.
to
Here's your
drink.
sugar water. I remember my dad made the best Kool-Aid because he like actually followed the directions. Like, the directions on the back say you're supposed to put in like 3 cups of ice or something.
I never followed the directions.
Yeah. And like, oh, Kathy, I knew it. I knew it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My
Good
husband
work,
really knows
Kathy.
that. Yeah.
Good work. But my dad put in the ice, and then I think the original directions when I was a kid said 3/4 cup of sugar, but he put in a whole cup. And
Ah,
so I just remember when he made it, like you could drink it right away because it was
right. Yes, and you
the
were like,
sugar water was so good.
give you some energy.
Right? Here's your nutrition, kids.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so we did sounds that you love. Did we
Mhm.
do sounds that you do not like?
Oh gosh, no, we didn't do that. But a big one is fireworks.
Oh, yes.
None at
I
all.
don't really like them either.
I feel like I live in Indiana, and you can
Yeah.
kind of shoot them off, and like sometimes we're like, was that a gun or was it a
Yeah.
firework?
No,
Isn't that terrible? But
no,
anyways, around the end of June, I'd say, getting
it
close to the Fourth of
starts.
July, it
Yep.
starts, and it goes
Yep.
on for a long time, and it's like you'll be in your backyard, like gardening or
Mhm.
whatever it is, and a big boom will go off and you fly out of your pants. So it's like,
Right.
ah. So it's like those like big booms, like
Mhm.
those are what I like the whole scene of it. Like, okay, like just get it over with on the Fourth of July.
Right.
Like I know it's coming. Okay,
Right.
let's get it done. I know I'm not going to sleep for these next like 5 hours,
Right.
and my
Well, and
dogs are going to be
the
crazy.
animals hate it.
I
Yeah.
hate it. My chickens get so scared, and my dogs, oh, they get terrified. So,
Aw.
and then they get like diarrhea. Like it's like a whole thing. Like
Right. Sounds like it.
it is. It's so much anxiety for everybody.
Right.
So,
Well, I used to live outside of Washington, D.C.,
mm,
and we used to go to the 4th of July celebration on the National Mall
okay.
where fireworks are like collaborated with like the Philharmonic Orchestra or something like
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember. But like once you see those two things put together and you
Mhm.
experience the fireworks in Washington, D.C., like nothing has ever really compared.
Yeah, right. I'm
Sense.
sure it's like a really like beautiful scene, and it looks like
Yeah.
you're gonna get like really cool pictures, and
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm good.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
I don't really like those either. I'm with you.
after so many years, it's like you get used to it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And I
yeah,
honestly don't like what it does to animals.
I
So,
don't either. Even wild animals,
mm-hmm.
it causes a
Kind of
lot of.
noise pollution-y. I hate to be a fun hater.
Me too. I know, and then I feel like I'm being like a brat, you know.
Right? I feel like I'm being kind of get off my lawn,
Yeah,
like I feel
exactly, exactly. I try to keep it to myself, but you know.
right, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so what about this one? So you are an artist, you are a full-time artist. So if you were not doing this, is there any other profession other than your own that you would maybe like to attempt?
This is a tricky one actually,
Ooh,
because I think about this a lot actually. It would definitely have to do something quiet, like I don't know, maybe like a florist. I don't even know if
oh,
that's quiet, but in my mind it is. You know, like arranging
and it's
flowers.
still creative,
Feel creative, yeah. Sometimes I think like barista or like own a coffee shop, but then I think all
right?
that noise is like
Right.
gets after a while. Like all just all the
It's
cups and
pretty
all the
shrill.
grinding and
Yeah.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot going on. It's like when you go into Starbucks, it's like it's kind of loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Other
I
than
like
that,
the flower shop idea.
I do too. Or maybe
Like, I want to do that with you, and like we could put in like dogwood and lily of the
yes,
valley and like put
yes,
weird stuff together.
woodland looking like
Yeah.
flower arrangements. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
And
And like,
it's kind of interesting because when I have my own flowers, I do not like to cut them. I'm like, no, you're going to stay alive as long as you can.
right. But could you imagine being able to like just walk down the lane and pick from this bucket and that bucket? And like, and like
It
that
would
would
be
be
like,
so fun.
it would be overwhelming, but in a good way. Like a
Right.
really good, like, whoa, overstimulated, I think. I would
So
be.
I don't really know a lot about arranging. Like, I'm sure there is like technique and like
Yeah.
all of I'm just pretty good at like slapping it all together. And like
Yeah.
my artistic eye is like, oh, okay. And then if you look at it and study it, it's like, oh, I was working in thirds, like some of
Yes.
this and like another weird one of that.
Yeah, like I'll buy some flowers from the grocery store or something,
Yep.
and like get like random like different flowers
Mhm.
and like make my own arrangement at home because then I'm
Me
like,
too.
and it takes me a while, but I like doing it. Like it's just fun to place them
Well,
where I feel like they
w-
belong.
one of the things that I would like to do, and this is a part of my toxic trait of being a serial entrepreneur, and like everything to me turns into like an opportunity. Um,
Mhm.
I would really like to have a cut flower stand seasonal from Big
Oh,
Raven
yes.
Farm.
That would be amazing.
I would love that. And I would also love to, because we always put fresh flowers in our guests' rooms.
Ooh.
And we end up buying those a lot of time until ours bloom. But I would
Mhm.
love to be a little bit more deliberate about that and then but I don't have time to put together a stand, like that.
A whole other thing, right? Yeah. Yeah. My husband's building me like a little farm stand for my because I sell my chicken eggs just because we
Yeah.
have a little bit more than we need and
Oh,
it's
definitely.
not
Us
many,
too.
but I was like, oh, maybe I can make like little flower arrangements, but then I'm like, then I have to cut my flowers.
Right? Oh,
So
but Maria, you know what? You know what I saw from the chicken stand thing that you should totally do? I
what's
saw
that?
somebody have an employee of the week,
Yes, I
and
was
it
gonna
was a
do
different
that.
chicken,
Yes.
and it was so cute.
Yes, I'm like, I'm already like imagining like, okay, what's it going to say about me
Yes.
and Stein and whoever and like all their quirks and because they all
Yes,
have different personalities and some are naughty and
definitely.
some are not. So
Oh, yes.
yeah,
What about your artwork? Are you gonna do like maybe little cards or like other little
too. I'm like that'd be a good opportunity to like sell stickers or something.
stickers,
Like so many
cards?
yeah.
I could see one of your whimsical scenes on like a journal cover,
Yeah.
like I would love to carry that around because
Oh,
I
thank you.
love those creamy. This is my toxic trait. I have a million ideas for a paperclip. Like, do not come to me for peace. I'm more like, what
No,
about this? What about
I
this?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's terrible. I gotta just stop.
I am the same way.
I know. We come by it honestly, right? It's part of, I think, being in the business of having businesses that are connected
Uh-huh.
to creativity, and it's just kind
Yes.
of like the wheels don't stop turning.
Never.
So, well, Maria, thank you so much for being here. My
Of
goodness. I
course.
mean,
Yeah.
can you believe how fast time goes? And I'm so glad we got a chance to get to know you better.
Hmm.
And I will make sure that we link in the show notes all the places that we can find you. Your
Awesome.
gouache course coming up sounds amazing.
I'm
Um,
excited.
the book that you referenced, We Need Your Art, we'll be sure to link that. Um,
Hmm.
and of course, your design at Big Raven Yoga, which is called Monarchs and is absolutely beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
if you're not familiar with how the guest artist program works at Big Raven Yoga, all of our artists receive a royalty every time one of their designs sells. So we try to take really good care of our artists because they are part of what makes Big Raven Yoga so special. So,
Awesome.
Maria,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. I've loved every moment.
Me
Um,
too.
so please don't be a stranger.
Oh yeah. No, I won't.
Okay,
Thank
awesome. And for those of you listening, thank you so much for being here. I do hope you'll join me on our next show, which is June 4th already, if you can believe that. Heidi Heather is going to be with me, and she is a conduit storyteller and grower, and she loves creating intuitive art that inspires love. She's here in Minnesota. Her work is rich in color and texture. She uses oil and cold wax, and I cannot wait to learn more about that. That sounds absolutely incredible. So, June 4th, Heidi Heather will be here. And today, thanks again so much to Maria for being with us. And have a great day, everybody. And we will definitely see you next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Thank you.